If there's one thing we've learned about business and life, it's that people are the X factor. They constantly surprise us, both in amazing ways and not so much. We're Ben and Syya, and welcome to the Gnaw on This Business Bites podcast. This show is all about real life things we all deal with every day, how they relate to business, and how to make some sense out of our daily chaos. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of Gnaw on This Business Bites. Now, a few weeks ago, or more than a few weeks ago, we did an episode on lies, agendas, and what was it?
Good job remembering our titles, my friend.
I know.
Lies, statistics, and agendas.
Lies, statistics, and agendas. Let's do this again. Okay, reset this.
I like it. I'd say keep the fracking going.
All right, so we'll just keep it. We'll just keep going on this. Well, all right. You know, I have a good memory, just short. Anyway, what we need to talk about is what is reality anymore? Seriously. Because my sense of reality may not be your sense of reality. My sense of what's right and wrong may not be your sense of what's right and wrong. My sense of what is beneficial for society may not be what you think is beneficial for society. You know, the world is full of gray. We're talking the 50 shades of gray, 1,000 shades of gray. There's a lot of space between black and white and right and wrong. And what I perceive as right, and what I perceive as reality, and what I perceive as anything is really just my opinion. Because all I can do is come to the table based on who I've met, what I've learned, what I've experienced, the good, the bad, and the ugly in my life, and all those things taint who and what I am today. And you're going to do the same. And your past is not my past. And your experiences are not my experiences. And your lessons learned are not my lessons learned. And this is what makes life interesting. So, Syya, let's gnaw on this. Is there really, truly, in today's world, one reality that we can rely on?
Oh my gosh. So I've been getting into this YouTube channel. It's like a bit of a conspiracy theory channel, but it's meant to be more edutational kind of. It's like a tongue-in-cheek type thing where the presenter presents what the tinfoil conspiracy is, and then he presents facts to rebut it in a way. And then he always leaves it for the audience to decide, you know, what do you believe? What do you want to believe? One of the episodes is, are we living in a simulation? And it just really hit me with the whole Neo, red pill, blue pill situation. Our realities are as real as we want to perceive it.
Absolutely.
That's just where my brain goes. Now, our version of reality, and this could be argued with the whole, you guys hear me say this all the time. I feel like multiverses crossed over during the pandemic because I feel like the world today is just slightly off than from what it was before. And maybe did we branch off into another tributary of, the multiverses, right? Because it's supposed to be indefinite. And so I feel like, much like that concept, we are the tributaries. We are that multiverse because everything that we perceive is a different universe than what you live in, but yet we live on the same plane of that said universe, right? So, I think this is why we have fundamental breakdowns in communication, right? Because we assume, and I oh my God, ask anyone that's texting right now in our chat, raise your hand, give me applause, everyone, of how many times I've texted you something and you're like, what the hell did you just mean by that statement? And it's usually because I speak in half words and because my brain moved on.
You speak in Syyaese.
But damn it, it's English Syyaese. Damn it. I mean,
well, it's English to you. And I've been on the receiving end of this. I've literally been on the receiving end of some of the texts. And you sit there going, what is she talking about? And for you, in your mind, it's crystal clear. And I'm sure I've done the same to other people. I am sure in my mind, as I'm writing something, it is crystal clear. I mean, as George Bernard Shaw says, the one problem with communication is the fallacy that it actually has
Has
actually
occurred.
occurred. I don't
Yes.
know what the exact quote is. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's, you sit there and say, we in our minds communicate something. It's crystal clear to us. We know it because it's colored with everything that we have, and we filled in all the blanks because the blanks are all sitting there inside our head. But other people are sitting there going, are we talking about Ben? Are we talking about Sarah? Are we talking about Reiki? Are we talking about this? Are we talking about that? Like, give me some context here.
Okay, 100%. And it's hilarious because
it is hilarious.
It is hilarious because, again, back in my corporate tech sales days, there's tech jingo lingo, right? And I remember you saying, I'm like, I'll ping you later. If you're not in technology, ping is literally a command line request that you put into your computer to say, is your computer actually going out to the internet? And it pings just like a sonar out, and you get a timestamp back, right? But if you're not technical, you don't understand what ping means. And so we're like, I'll ping you later. And then compound that if you're with your own company culture and you guys have your own lingo. Yeah. And then you start using your company lingo to your customers and clients and partners. Yeah. And they're just like,
because their reality is not your reality.
Cha-ching. Yes. Bad. We're so bad at that.
Oh yeah.
Why?
We all speak in our same language. I mean, I look at it from an also different point of view, and I blame Brene Brown. I blame Oprah for this. It says, I'm going to speak my truth.
Oh,
well, guess what? Guess what? Here,
God.
And I'm going to say this. There might be a truth out there. There might be a universal truth. I don't think any of the 8 billion people in this world are smart enough to understand what it truly is. You have opinions. I have opinions. You have beliefs. I have beliefs. I have experiences. You have experiences. Yours are different from mine. Mine are different from my mother's. And guess what? They form our idea of what's right and wrong. But it doesn't make that it is right or wrong. It's right or wrong for us. And therefore it is an opinion, not a fact, and not,
I have
not a truth.
Yes. Look, that phrase, I think it triggers me. It's triggering me right now.
It triggers me.
The thing about, well, this is my truth, or I'm speaking my truth. What it tells me then in this communication exchange is that if I offer an alternative, quote, truth or factoid, that it will be met with resistance, and if not
and hostility.
Hostility.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand it. I think when the statement first came out, it was meant from a pure place saying, hey, I just want to share my perspective with you. I think that was how it was initially
conceived. It was empowerment
conceived.
Is what it was.
It was meant to be, but it's become bastardized. The connotation has evolved over time. Good, bad, ugly, and different. Sometimes when you get sayings like that, it gets embraced and it gets put into the zeitgeist of vernacular that we speak together, but Agreed. It doesn't get perceived the same way. So now reality is also skewed on what was the original intention of something to what it actually has become, right? I mean, that's why slang exists, because it's such a living and breathing thing with language, right? Yeah. So what is reality? Really, reality is, I think the best way we can define it, reality is a universal moment in time viewpoint of that moment, which is never achievable. So it's but it has to be at that moment in time, because it's going to change instantly the next second. You know what I mean? That's
perfect.
reality.
Perfect example of slang that you and I grew up with versus the slang my 20-year-old uses.
Saying or slaying?
Slang or
slang.
Slang. We have slang. Yeah. We have pop culture. We have the things that are reference points and that are part of our reality.
Right.
That my child cannot understand and cannot reference. Fax machines, pagers. There's a million things that no longer exist and are no longer part of their reality. Like dial-up, having to go on a dial-up modem. What's a modem, for God's sakes? it just, you sit there and say you have a different reference of what reality is, because reality today is much different than reality was in the 1970s and 1980s.
Right. Oh, it
and,
doesn't even, yeah.
and what was right and wrong 40 years ago is not what's right and wrong or what's accepted today.
Look, 40 years, actually, if you say that, now that you mention it, 40 years for us in the 80s was World War II.
Yes.
40 years for the kids today is the 80s.
Yes.
And
right.
for us growing up, the 40s was black and white.
Yeah.
Right? For these kids, it's, oh my God, these people lived without the internet.
That's right.
So how did you drive?
You live without the internet?
How did you drive? How did you talk to each other? Yeah, we had these like 40-foot cable cord, like those members all around the house.
With a swivel on the end so we could wrap them around.
Right, and you could cross-check your family because they're walking around the hallways, right, and not paying attention.
Exactly.
Look, so reality is really in the eye of the beholder. It is of the time. It is of the priorities of the individual, because let's be honest, when we were teenagers, our reality was vastly different. In our 20s, we still had hope. We haven't been, killed by life experiences yet. So we were very optimistic about life and very black and white in our viewpoint of like, why can't you old people fix things? It's like, I remember that.
And our kids are now having that same conversation with us.
And it is, again, time and place. I think it's a wonderful component of the journey that is life. So reality is just journey, maybe. I don't know. I'm just hoping
it's a continuum. And I think if we look at reality as an ever changing, ever evolving continuum, because the amount of knowledge and the amount of data and content that is available is growing exponentially. I mean, in 5 years' time, will we Google something?
Yeah.
Will we even Google something in 5 years from now? In 20 years from now, will somebody even know the expression, go Google it?
It's funny you should mention that. I just literally read an article talking about how we use Google as a verb, even though it's a noun. And the kids now don't even recognize to Google that. Like they don't use it as a verb. They actually are flipping it back to the company.
That's right.
It's just an entity. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's really fascinating. But I mean, we can wax poetic on this topic. Man, I'm loving our topics that we're picking, because I feel like this is yet another one where what is reality? Because we went down this topic with perception of reality, right? But we could have easily taken what is reality in the eyes of technology, AI, and innovation, which we didn't talk about, which damn well I'd love to wax poetic on that too. I would like to gnaw on this too.
All right, so let's add that to the list moving forward. So,
hey, audience, give us the light bulb if you want us to do the what is reality with the basis of AI and tech innovation.
Exactly.
So that would be the topic of what is reality. So give us an insightful, so I can pinpoint if there's any interest in that. Thank you.
All right. So let's leave it there. I'm Ben.
And I'm Syya.
And we'll see you soon.
Hey. Thanks for listening to another episode of Gnaw on This, Business Bites. If you liked what you heard, we most humbly ask that you like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to communicate more effectively within your organization, contact Ben at yourbrandmarketing.com or me at brilliantbeammedia.com. We can help you build your community, brand awareness, and personality through digital content and podcasting. We cannot wait to hear from you. So see you next week for another episode of Gnaw on This, Business Bites.